What is up, everybody? This is actually a good video. It really talks about some of the economics of everything that we discussed before. And once again, I was right. Oh, you always talk about you right, man. It's getting old. Don't care. Don't care. You're lucky my chair doesn't spin. Otherwise, I'd pull a shout out to my good friend Razor Fist spinning this bad boy, telling you exactly that. But I was right. You didn't need to be an economist, certainly, to predict any of this. This is just simply what it was. First of all, thank you guys again for the success that we're certainly having over at with ISOM #1, over 40,000 purchasers. This is insane. 3.44 million brought in. We have updates, transparency update, first one for our campaign, or rather our content series over at Rippaverse Comics YouTube. Go check that out. It's about 15 minutes or so long. It's a good one. So go check that out. We'll be releasing a lot of those over the coming weeks as we continue to prepare. But what I really want to talk about today is exactly this. So for some of y'all, of course, know CW it was in limbo. I don't know what you want to call it, but it was assets were about to be sold off. We talked about this on the channel before. Now, there were some things that were admitted here. Deadline, actually, I believe, was the first to cover it, but we're going to cover it from a Bounty in the Comics article. And what it says, everything that we've said before, it's like certain things, just because you see it, just because it gets the retweets, just because it gets the likes, just because it gets, the coverage of Access Media and all this, does not mean that these are profitable. It does not mean that they are actually making money. I think there's a lot of, I know there's a lot of smoke and mirrors. You hear me use that term all the time, referencing Hollywood, referencing other entertainment assets. There's a big benefit that you get when you are tied to some mega corporation or big entity, in that you can mask a lot of failures. You can operate by losing money and losing money, which other businesses, certainly smaller ones, could never do. That would be illogical. That would be people going under for a lot less. But because it just exists, and this is the problem I have with the economics of entertainment right now, is that none of it makes sense. But you have a lot of confused customers, really, and potential customers who think that just because something is seen means that it has to be making money. And this is why I continue to say, stop catering to these weirdos, definitely, that make these stand accounts that are loud online on the TikToks of the world, Twitter and such, because just because they do that does not mean that they're actually paying customers. In fact, I would argue that the Rippaverse and ISOM #1 is a big example of that. Then I didn't have the mainstream coverage. I didn't have any of them co-signing anything, the viral tweets and all that. I had none of that. Yet we have been very competitive in this market with our first book, accounting for over 50,000 books so far and 40,000 total purchasers. Like, this is for real. And it shows that, well, having people talk about it and catering to a demographic of people that don't really have capital does not necessarily mean that you are going to convert them into paying customers, because, well, they don't got capital and they are unreliable. But as covered here, has announced on August 15th, Nexstar Media Group has entered a deal to purchase 75% stake in Arrowverse home from its current owners, both of whom will retain 12.5% interest in the network and continue to produce scripted content for its airwaves through 2023, at which time the three entities will discuss the possibility of extending the terms of their agreement. Further, the CW chairman and CEO, Mark Pedowitz, will continue on his role under Nexstar once the deal finalizes sometimes in the third quarter of 2022. The largest owner of local television stations in the United States, it says 197 in total. Nexstar Media Group also serves as partial owner, 31%, of fellow television broadcast networks, the Food Network and the Cooking Channel, as well as the parent company of political news outlet The Hill. During a recent conference call regarding the company's newly announced purchase, this is the funny part, Nexstar Media Group CFO Leigh Ann Giller informed the various Wall Street analysts who were in attendance that their goal for the CW was to have it turn a profit by 2025. So in 3 years, they're looking for this brand or channel to be able to at least produce some sort of profit in 3 years. Let's turn it around. But listen to this and what Leigh Ann said. It's no secret that the CW is not profitable, but this is not typical for fully distributed, broadcast or cable networks. In fact, according to SNL Kagan data, no other broadcast operates at an ongoing loss. To this end, Giller explained that Nexstar currently expects to invest a low nine-figure amount over a 3-year period as we implement our plan. We view this amount as a proxy for a purchase price or an investment made over time rather than an ongoing drag on cash flow. You know us, we are profit and cash flow focused and expect this asset to achieve profitability. This is something that is very important to note. And they do go on, they talk about the COO who emphasized that, or emphasize everything, I guess, that they're going in terms of their plan. So with the transfer of ownership and all that's going on with the CW, they are trying to change. Now, I am not going to say that they are going to make good material for you. I don't believe that they're even capable of doing that if it's going to still be running through Hollywood. But it does let you in on the idea of how these companies sort of operate. Yes, they are saying that in comparison to other networks, they don't run like this, operating at a loss, not just breaking even. They were operating at a loss. They were actively losing money. And I'd asked this question many times, even back when I used to cover this stuff. I was like, there's no way that this stuff is turning a profit or they're making money from this. It's dead on arrival. These new shows that are coming out, you see they're like, in terms of not scores, in terms of reviews, but they're like rankings in terms of the scans and the viewership. Like, nobody's watching this stuff. So ain't no way that they're turning a profit because they can't monetize it. They can't monetize it. And Lord knows how much money that they're spending on the project, which is more so what goes into it as well. It's like if you're not operating at a profit, you're spending money and you're not making that money back, plus, you know what I mean, the expenses to turn the said profit. So CW, they admitted, and it's significant because it's one of the companies to admit it, that they were operating at a loss. So all them retweets, all these CW stands who be in my mentions on Twitter talking all that noise, apparently they weren't coming out watching it enough for that company to be profitable. All the retweets, all of that didn't seem to make it turn a profit. But here's the thing, and if you made it through this video, I want you to listen to this last bit. The people that the CW caters to, unfortunately, don't even care about that. And that's the conundrum that they'd always been in. It's that you're catering to a demographic that looks at it like, hey, you are making something that gets their, enemies, get under the skin of their enemy, or they're making something that, let's say, confirms their social views and bias. And that's all worth it. An entity that has some sort of, there wasn't that many people watch it, but you get it. Hey, it's the CW. It's on network television, all that. So it looks and sounds good. So they say, hey, look at this entity that is co-signing us and our views. And that to them is important. That's why you don't cater to them. I'm willing to bet a lot of these cats don't even watch it consistently. oh, they become super fans of Naomi or something like that. And it's like, look at all these tweets, all these things about, yeah, this is Batwoman. It's just so good. It's just we need this. This is great. And I'm willing to bet a lot of them didn't watch it. Oh, man, this is significant. But don't expect everybody in Hollywood to ever say or admit anything like that. But that's the benefit that you get when you're connected to other entities that do make money. Well, your losses, they get hit. You can operate by breaking even and or losing money, even multiple times. Multiple projects can lose money. If they just knock it out the park on one, well, you funded other future projects. But at some point, some of these things can become a burden. I think that's what this was.